This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 999. Your eyes do not deceive you. And it's the Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Austin, Texas, author, speaker, podcaster, Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
And once again, filling in for our long-lost Derek Minor, no, he'll be back next time, is our very own downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
We have a great show in store for you today. It's an exciting show for us. We are going to tell you all about our brand new fall issue of Relevant, groundbreaking cover story with one of our favorite artists, MIA, came to faith. She became a Christian a few years ago. And in our cover story, she tells us all about her conversion experience. It is fascinating. There's a lot of other amazing stuff in the issue as well. Can't wait to tell you all about it. That'll be coming up on the show later today. One of the artists that is actually featured in the issue is Dayglow. And Dayglow joins us today. You'll hear part of that conversation here on the podcast. And then at the end of the show, Tyler wrote a game called State the Facts. State the Facts.
Wow. Already nervous.
I don't know anything about it. Just get nervous now. It's happening. So don't miss that. All right. You guys doing good? You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
I'm so ready to do this.
All right.
Born ready for this moment.
Look at us. We're just, I am plowing through this 999 because, A, there's a lot of great stuff to get to.
It's 999.
It's insane. We started this show in August of 2005. And
you guys were the first podcast I ever listened to.
I'm sorry.
Fun fact.
When we launched, we were one of the number one podcasts in the world. It was like us and This American Life and like Mark Maron. Because we were the only three that existed at that time.
Right.
Wait, so you said you launched this in August 2005?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in the 5th grade.
Uh-huh.
So I was not even aware that podcasts were a thing back then.
Yeah.
You would not have been allowed to listen to our show. It was very,
relevant
very
after
blue.
dark?
It was very blue. Yes. You don't, yeah. We didn't know any better. We thought podcasting was like Howard Stern. You had to like cuss all the time. And so, we did all that.
It was, it's pretty outrageous. Pretty outrageous. We had a soundboard, a wonka wonka horn. Most of it was prank calls.
See, I can't tell if you're joking right now or not.
Of course we're joking. It was this show.
I know, but I know the two of you, and I wouldn't put it past you. There had to have been at least a few prank
cuss?
calls.
What are you talking about?
No, not that part. The prank calls.
The prank calls.
There was a time where I pitched that, and it did.
My least favorite thing in the world is prank calls.
I love it.
I would listen to Jesse prank call people all day long.
That's what got my college radio show canceled, is because we did prank calls live on the air, and it got us in trouble, and they pulled the plug on our show.
Censorship.
I'll say this. When I have people over and it's like, hey, remember when we used to prank calls in high school? Yeah, let's do something. And so the era of the iPhone has made prank calls much more difficult because, a lot of people just don't answer unknown calls anymore. So your best thing, and you feel bad messing with people who are answering a phone for a living. Like they don't want to work at the call center, and they especially don't want to hear you, wasting their time with some just, insane prank that you're going to extend for as long as possible. It's really the art of prank calling. Steve Jobs killed it. And it's hard to reckon with that.
No prank calls on this episode, so it's safe for little
Everyone's
ears.
safe.
Everybody
But for the 1000th, who knows?
Oh gosh,
we're going crazy.
We should. We should finally have a prank call segment.
Oh my God.
We have to call places that are obligated to answer their phone, like a church reception desk.
I mean, we're having a meeting here
That's terrible.
shortly about the 1000th episode, making plans, doing an unusual episode. So have we started that meeting, basically? Is that what's going on right now?
This is it. Welcome to the meeting.
Jamie, you're opposed? You think that church receptionists should be off limits for pranks?
off limits.
They do too much.
They have to deal with so many mean, angry people.
It's not going to be mean-spirited. It'll be hilarious.
They have to keep track of the pastor's mistresses and who he's seeing today. What?
Stop.
Who he's DMing today.
Stop.
No? Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. We're moving the show along. Stay tuned. Up next, it's Slices.
Caught up in the nostalgia. It's never too late now to call you. Well, I could pretend I don't want you by my side. Well, I'll be the first to admit it. Oh God, I got lost in the moment, but you took me back in a second. Now I'm home. Oh, there's just no place like home. Oh, there's just no place like home. With you. Oh, there's just no place like
You're listening to ISLY. The song is Nostalgia. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
What do you have, Jesse?
All right. This one, this one isn't anything that I feel like is going to be revelatory, but I do feel like it's probably a good reminder that reading negative news all the time can have pretty significant impacts, not just on your mental health, but on your physical health. There was a recent study out of Texas Tech University. And essentially what they found is that they had polled over 1,000 people, and they asked them about their news consumption and about a variety of mental health issues and just their perception of their health, if they're feeling sick. And they found a correlation of people who constantly read negative news. It was a reasonably significant number, like 16% of the people who read negative news, had more frequent feelings of just like illness and, specifically feelings of anxiety and depression. And as they point out in the study, constant stress and anxiety does release, hormones in your body that have long-term negative effects and short-term effects too, inflammation and insomnia. But they found the correlating factor to be consumption of negative news stories, which, it's not surprising, but I do think it's a good reminder that doom scrolling isn't just something that, isn't always a good use of your time or might be unproductive, but it's also could have actual health benefits, it could be detrimental
Adverse.
to your, adverse effects to your health. I know for me, I like consuming news and I like knowing what's going on and kind of reading different opinions on things. But it does seem like since COVID, where do you remember like when COVID kind of first started, it was everyone just wanted to read all day. Like, when is this going to be over? What's the next thing? Hey, and it seems like it's never stopped since then, that there's just been the fire hose of news and information and misinformation seems, to be never have been greater. But I think studies like this are a good reminder. It's like, hey, let's take a beat, don't let things that are totally outside of your control dominate your thinking, because it really can have, detrimental effects. It's also a reminder of, like, you guys know the Serenity Prayer, which is, oh God, Heavenly Father.
Serenity now.
Yeah.
Serenity now.
But
that's a Seinfeld reference.
Yeah. Essentially, that you're asking God, grant us the serenity of mind to accept which cannot be changed, the courage to change which can be changed, and the wisdom to know one from the other. Like, I think that's an important thing when you're reading the news. Like, sometimes this is outside of our control. Like, we can pray for stuff, or we can, have informed opinions about things, but there are things that we can control directly in our lives, and let's not let the consumption of all this bad affect what we actually can do positively in our lives.
I stopped watching TV news like years ago because I could not find any station that told me information without blatant bias. Obviously you're human. There's going to be a bias in anything that's written or said, but I mean, like, overt, I was like, can I just get information, please? Can somebody just tell me what happened today, and not like keep harping on what, they're bad and you're bad and everybody's bad. So I read news like we have to for our job, but I do not turn it on TV ever.
I think, like you said, like, this study isn't surprising at all, because I can even just tell between, like you said, Cameron, like, for my job, I have to read the news. I have to stay informed. And, like, compared to my friends who have a better excuse for avoiding news, I can sometimes tell, like, they're not affected by things in the way that I am. So, like, I think probably the biggest example was when the school shooting happened in Texas earlier this year. I was just reading everything I can, trying to figure out what's going on, so then we could, share stories or report on it and stuff. And I have friends who are teachers, and for their mental health, they did not engage with it, or they tried to engage with it as little as possible. And just even in talking with them, I could tell, like, I am feeling like so much weight about, and not that they weren't feeling bad about it by any means, but just like, even in our conversations, I could tell, like, oh, this is really weighing me down. And I do need to have that balance of engaging with it, but then also stepping away and maybe engaging with something else, or just putting, like, I am never on my phone after 5 o'clock, honestly. And my friends hate it because they try to text me and I just don't see them. But it's like, if I have my phone, I'm going to be tempted to look at the news, and I do it all day, and I can't do it all night too. And, it's tricky, but for my own health reasons, it's like, I can't be engaged 24/7. And I don't think as humans, we're supposed to be engaged with news 24/7. I think like there's these studies that show that this generation has more like depression and anxiety than ever before. And I think it's because we're on our phone all the time, because before, you weren't aware of every possible thing going on in every corner of the world. And now you see it, and you're also expected to care about everything. And I think that's a whole other issue, but it's
overwhelming. Yeah.
It's a lot. And I think we have to give ourselves permission to say, I care about the world. I want the best for it, but I can't help it if I am just in this pit of despair all the time. I have to pull myself out before I can try to figure out if there's anything I can even do to affect the world.
Yeah. It's like I was watching the new Jon Stewart show on Apple TV the other day, and it's like even this style of like, hey, let's interject the news with comedy, Colbert or The Daily Show, like watching. It's not fun anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand, and I'm not anything against Jon Stewart. Like, I've appreciated his work for a long time, but I think it's like, hey, to your point earlier, Cameron, sometimes maybe just get my news and then have a little escapism with comedy or entertainment, and not have to feel the obligation to interject everything with awareness of terrible things happening, because it can have a negative effect. Find times and ways to be informed, but also find times for a little to come up for air just for your own mental health, On
Twitter, I follow only basketball and humor people and Derek and Relevant. That's it. So my Twitter, like, no news, no heavy, no fighting. It's just laughing and talking about basketball. That's like literally all I do, because I have
all
to.
You need.
You might have the happiest Twitter feed then.
Oh, yeah. I do. I really enjoy Twitter because I've scrubbed it of all people talking about current events. So, anyway. All right. What do you have, Emily?
You know me. I got some space news. That's all I really ever want to talk about.
I did not know that you like space this much. You have a tattoo of space.
Coming
I
out
found
every
out.
week.
Yeah, I feel like we should talk about space more because I know everyone's scared of space, and sure, it's big.
I'm not. I'm into space. I had a scrapbook in 4th grade of newspaper articles about the Challenger.
Let's dig into that more. What do you mean a scrapbook?
Because the Challenger exploded when I was in 4th grade,
Sure.
and I saw it happen because I live 30 miles from the Space Center, and I was into space. My dream as a kid was to go to space camp, which Jesse and I fulfilled
did.
as adults a couple years ago. But yeah, I'm into space, and Jesse won't let me enjoy it because he hates it so much.
Too big. I've said it before.
Not big enough.
Too big up there. Too big. Not interested.
You're so interested, Jesse, in like extra like life out there, or that's a little confusing to me. I'm be honest.
I'm glad you said that, Jamie, because you know what they didn't talk about at all at space camp.
What?
Aliens. Like, great. I know. Because the thing is, like, space people don't want to talk about interesting space stuff. They just want to talk about, well, you know, the rockets and gravity and you know, the soil samples. I don't care about any of that. Okay? Like, tell me about moon rocks and what is. Yeah. Let's talk about the cool stuff, man. We're breezing. You're telling me space is so big. There's so much cool stuff we could talk about, but anybody that's into space just wants to talk about rockets and dust and meteors. I don't care about any of that. Maybe next week we can do a What's Jesse Thinking, because I've been digging into like the work of this really interesting physicist. His name is Sylvester James Gates, and he has all these really interesting theories that involve like simulation theory and string theory and all this stuff that I feel like has deep religious implications and deep like just ideas about the fundamentals of the universe. Space Camp doesn't talk about any of that. It's hey, you're only going to weigh 65 pounds on the surface of the moon. Let's take about an hour and a half to strap you to this device. It's like, no, I get it. I weigh less up there. Okay, let's talk about them aliens.
Emily, Jesse did not want to go. We were gifted the opportunity to go by Nat Geo because they were promoting the Mars series that they did a few years ago, and so it was a bunch of journalists. And so we're at Space Camp, and it's literally like all these journalists accepted the invitation because they wanted to go to Space Camp. They were interested in this. They were probably a science reporter or whatever. They were like, this was cool because this is like real astronaut training facility stuff, And so we're in the very first meeting, and Jesse's there thinking it's just going to be like, we're just farting around. Everybody's in on the joke. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Then the jumpsuits came out.
Right. Yeah. They gave us jumpsuits for real. And so we're all there in our jumpsuits, and they're kind of assigning teams and like, okay, you guys are going to go train this way. You guys are going to do this, Okay, we're going to go on the shuttle simulator. We're going to do this. Everybody's going to have different roles. And they were saying, so we'll need like a commander. We'll need a navigator. We'll need a this. We'll need mission control. And they didn't even ask the question. Jesse yells out, "I will lead us." And
I could look in the room. There was not a leader in that group. Okay, we were doomed for a bad time if one of those nerds led.
So fast forward to the end. He is the commander of the space shuttle. He is the one flying the space shuttle simulator. We're all in different roles, different things. And the whole thing is like VR, you can see like mission control is watching our flight, right? We're coming down to land the space shuttle, which if it lands like an airplane. It's got wheels and lands on a runway. And we're flying in, and mission control is yelling to Jesse, like, there's a problem, there's an issue, there's a thing. And Jesse's like,
hear it. I don't want to hear it.
It's clear. And they're going, it's not clear. And he's like, no, it's clear. It's good. And he goes and comes down and lands it. And we go, he couldn't stop it. And so we end up going and crashing into the woods at the end of the runway with the cargo bay open.
First time ever. New record. No one's ever done it. It was a proud moment for...
The workers were so mad because Jesse was not taking it seriously at all.
Well,
and he landed it with the cargo.
Record-breaking landing. Okay, no one's landed in the swamp, A. No one's landed with the bay doors. It's 3 records. Doors open, swamp landing, and bay door swamp landing. It's to this day. Here's the thing, though. Like I said, if they were to be like, hey, here's what we think about some cool alien stuff or whatever, that's one thing. I could go to a flight. I can go to Dave & Buster's and jump on a flight simulator That's a lot cooler. That doesn't take me. I have to listen to an hour of instructions and wear a jumpsuit and have a science lesson before. I get it, man. Space shuttles are complicated. They're literally a whole field of rocket science. I'm not pursuing that. I trust the rocket science knows what the scientists are doing because they're rocket scientists. I don't need to know. Just like I said, I could go right down the street, $10 and do like 6 awesome simulators, and I probably get to fire missiles and stuff. So step up the game, Space Camp.
Fire missiles.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, what's your slice, Emily?
Well, unfortunately, it's not about aliens. I feel like I should preface that before anyone gets their hopes up. The James Webb Telescope is in deep space right now, and it has been sending images back, and it is blowing scientists' minds because what they thought they knew about the universe and galaxies turns out to be pretty false. So the theory was that when the universe started, which we won't get into the debates of that, but when it started, it was really chaotic and disorderly, and everything was just out of order and stuff. But over time, it has become more organized and more just less chaotic, essentially. And so these images went to what are supposedly the oldest galaxies in the universe. And it just turns out that's not true. They're actually a lot more organized and very just clear what they're supposed to look like. And basically the scientists just don't understand it because everything they thought they knew about the universe is kind of proving to be false, or specifically the early universe. They thought, there was just going to be these clumps and that, it was just going to be chaotic, but apparently that's not true. So it's just an interesting thing because, space exploration has not really been around for that long, obviously. Like it's only a couple decades, but scientists were so sure about this. And so for them to be proven false, it's kind of like, okay, well, what do we think now? And how does that change our view of the universe now? Like, how do we move forward? Maybe someone needs to go to space camp again and figure it out. Well,
and I think this is such an interesting story, and it goes back to, this similarly to this research I've been kind of interested in is, there's this physicist, and I'm going to butcher it because I don't have like all the, notes and details in front of me, but essentially who has, uses math and spatial relation, just like physicists have done for a long time to kind of understand space and how, gravity and all these things interact. And essentially he believes that he's found what appears to be code, like in the numbers and patterns in binary code that seems to be intentionally crafted in a way that isn't incidental. And I think, for some people there, the idea of simulation theory that like, if you were a character in a highly sophisticated game like The Sims or something, how would you ever even know that the universe you inhabited was designed by someone and wasn't real? But as Christians who believe there is a designer and creator, I think that all of this is really interesting because it's not like something where we have to like prove God, but I think he reveals himself and his nature through his creation. And the more we understand it on that level, kind of the better we understand our relationship with him. I think it's super fascinating.
Yeah. And I think that's why I love space for this reason. I think a lot of people with aliens, with space, and all the theories about it, people think like, if you believe these theories, then you're kind of almost like going against what the Bible says about how God created the universe and stuff. But I don't think that's true. And I think this proves it, that there was a plan, there was intentionality in it. And so for me, this is exciting as a Christian because I'm like, this to me proves God more than the Big Bang Theory. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But.
Emily, you said in passing that you have a space tattoo. What is it? Just a bunch of dots all over your body? Like,
it is. There are a couple planets and stars and an alien spaceship, and it's
a flying saucer.
Yeah, flying saucer.
I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I get a lot of compliments on it.
You could keep just adding dots, and
I thought about adding something beneath because there's nothing beneath the like beams that's supposed to like I guess, abducted, whatever.
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out what I want to do. I've thought about a cow. That'd be kind of funny.
A space shuttle with the cargo doors open.
Oh yeah.
Landing, like laying in a swamp.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's memorialized.
It's iconic.
I'm assuming we haven't gone back, not welcome back, but I'm assuming at Space Camp, there's at least a plaque, if not something greater, to memorialize that landing. I think you probably made it
on like the tutorial video of what not to do.
It was funny watching how irritated they got when I would not take things seriously.
Irritated.
Maybe we could prank call them later and see how they're doing.
I would prank call Space Camp. Yeah, I would totally do that. That would be for the 1,000th episode. We're doing it. Okay, I'm just making the call. I feel like I've put in enough time. I can just demand a segment, and now's the time of making that demand. And we're all right. I want to prank call Space Camp.
Okay. Well, normally right here is where I would go, all right, Jamie, what do you have? And she would then regale us with a very interesting slice, and we would all talk about it and probably share a few laughs. But we found out, I'm recording this after we recorded the show, we found out in post-production that during Jamie's slice, her mic completely cut out of the recording, and we lost it. Our normal backup got lost. Everything got lost. And so, unfortunately, we were not able to recover Jamie's slice, and we ran out of time to re-record it. So, unfortunately, we have to move the show along without Jamie's slice. It was great, though. Man, you guys don't know what you're missing. Luckily, we fixed everything right after this segment, and the show can continue like normal from here. Coming up next, we talk to Dayglow.
Can't even see you right in front of me talking. Your lips are moving, I don't hear a thing. No, you're not getting through to me, and I know you'd rather turn the other cheek, but you hit me up 1,000 times a week. Scared to tell you that I don't want you to leave, 'cause I know you could. Yeah, I know you could. This can't be right, I'm scared and I need someone to calm me.
You're listening to Delwater Gap. The song is Better Than I Know Myself. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting GodTheScienceTheEvidence.com. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness,
Choose The Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold.
Well, our guest today is Sloan Struble, a.k.a. Dayglow. He's an exploding indie artist from Texas. You know his hit song, Can I Call You Tonight, and Close to You. He sat down with Tyler to share why he wants to make happy music for serious people and how he's staying true to himself even as he grows. The conversation is part of a larger profile we do with him in the brand new issue of Relevant, which you'll hear more about coming up in the next segment. But here is part of our conversation with Dayglow.
It seems like, in listening to your music sort of stands out, especially from the music that I was listening to, especially like when I was a little bit younger, when I was like a teenager. I listened pretty much exclusively to sad music and like heartbreak music and like weepy, like that kind of weepy stuff. And that was just what I cut my teeth on. And your music seems very, very positive, and it makes you feel really good to be listening to it. Is that a deliberate thing that you do? Do you feel the same way, or is that like a choice that you make about the kind of music, kind of energy you want to put into the world?
Sure. Yeah. I think it is a choice. But it feels really natural for me to make happy music. Like, I think rather than saying it's a choice, like, I think I'm just aware of it. Like, I'm self-aware that it's definitely happy music, but it's naturally what I make. Like, when I sit down to make music, I think it's therapeutic for me. And like, I try to make songs that melodically lifts you up. I think that's just one of the most mysterious things about music, is that like melody can evoke emotion, and even like how things are produced and mixed matter. And it's weird. So like, I, as an artist, feel like I would rather express and explore those emotions than the alternative. But then again, there's a time and place for everything. And I listen to sad music sometimes,
Sure.
But for what I make, I like to make music that, lifts people up and makes them want to dance.
It seems like there is some people have that. I don't feel this way, but you see this idea out there that like sad music or angry music is somehow more serious or more mature, or that's what the grown-ups listen to, and then positive music is more like kid stuff. And I feel like what you do kind of turns that on its head, or shows that that's just not always the case. It doesn't have to be the case, at least. And I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Like, it's a really delicate balance where it's hard to do that. Like, it's kind of treacherous territory to try to make serious, optimistic music. Because it's just almost always seen as like an ignorant thing. And I guess it's just like, I don't know, it makes sense, but this is something I wanted to try with Dayglow, and the music that I make is maybe I could do it, like music that's taken seriously and it's fun, My memory is not like the other one. Turn to strike my face. Always second place. Tell me again, why is it I never can do anything right?
Do you feel like as you've done this and as you've pushed it, do you feel like there's been do you feel like it's received that way? Like, do you feel like your fans, the people who listen to you, the people who come to the shows, are they maybe looking for that? Because honestly, we're in a time of a lot of, we're coming out of pandemics, and there's a lot of weird economic stuff. Obviously, there's lots of reasons to be kind of sad and scared or whatever. And like you said, the music that we listen to can have a real impact on our emotional state and can turn things around. Do you think that might be part of the reason that people are attracted to Dayglow?
I think definitely. Yeah. Like, shows Dayglow shows seem to be very therapeutic for a lot of people. And that context is great for me because, you know, I didn't really get a lot of touring experience prior to the pandemic. And I made my first 2 records, you know, like before the end of the pandemic, you know, and so I've been touring for, I guess, a year now. And I really now have the context of what people want a Dayglow show to be like and what you know they're looking for. And it's just really good to have that context. And so People in Motion, my next record, kind of came out of that context and knowing what this world that I have kind of accidentally created is.
Expectations to reality, when you were in that dorm room releasing your first album or working on music, thinking like maybe someday this could be a real thing, to now it being a real thing, how close is this to what you kind of saw in the best case scenario in your head at the time?
I have no idea. It's so hard to look back and like remember like things, especially just when everything happens so fast. Like, I wonder if when I'm, you know, 50 or something, I'll be able to look back and remember, because I definitely don't now. And maybe I'll be able to be like, oh yeah, that's what I thought. But it's just been so like smooth for the most part. I mean, definitely there's some hard times whenever you're young and all this is happening so quick. But yeah, I don't know. I've just always been confident in what I created. And I think my reason for making things is like I'm just always trying to have fun and like make music and not like worry about like the algorithm or like worry about, you know, selling it or like getting with this label and doing this thing. Like it's always just about having fun and making music. And so it's still the same thing that I was doing. You know, more people care now, which is really cool. But, you know, to be fair, I'm really not like making the music for them. I'm just like doing it for fun, you know? So I guess the process hasn't really changed, but the scope of things, I never would have thought it would have been this big.
Sure. You said that this looks like it's going to continue to grow, and it looks like it probably is from my end too. Your trajectory is going the right direction. Do you think it's going to be harder to continue to like stay true to this ethos that you have about keeping it pure? Do you see that like that do you think that temptation is going to get bigger? You know what I mean? Like it seems like it'd be easy to cave.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a challenge. I mean, I think, I would like to say that I can continue to like make music by myself. And I mean, I make music in my downtime. Like it's such a paradox, and I'm like such a workaholic because like the way that I relax is by making music, and that's also my work. So it's a cycle of just constant work. So I don't know. I mean, I think I think I can manage it, and I'm surrounded by good people, and I have a good team of people helping me, and I like it now. I'm a young one, so we'll figure it out as it comes, I guess. Probably the same things. 'Cause I know the things that you've been talking about, and sometimes I can't ever believe what you say. Yeah, it's only in the way I'm feeling this down, and nothing seems to change. Yeah, you tell me everything, you tell me it's fine, but there's something tells me that there's something going on here. I know the way you get that look in your eyes, and then it disappears. That was Dayglow. You can read a lot more of that conversation in the brand new issue of Relevant, which conveniently we'll tell you all about coming up right after this.
listening to Midnight Trust. The song is Serenade of Water. All right. Well, 4 times a year, we put out a copy of Relevant Magazine in digital form. We've had the pleasure of having sponsors for it to provide it for free on our website each time. And then we also create an enhanced ad-free edition for Relevant Plus subscribers. It is beautiful. Our fall issue releases this week. If you're a Relevant Plus subscriber and you're listening to the early release version of this show on Tuesday, it hasn't come out yet. The issue is releasing on Wednesday. If you're part of the masses listening to the free version of this podcast, it's Thursday. It came out yesterday. The issue came out yesterday, so it came out. So whoever you are, here's the new issue of Relevant. Please welcome our very own Tyler Huckabee and downtown Emily Brown to tell you all about it.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, y'all.
Okay, so
Bonjour.
this is a fun one because we've been working on this cover story for quite a while.
Oh my gosh.
We cover life, we cover justice and all this kind of stuff, but we are known for covering the intersection of faith and culture. And sometimes it's like pulling teeth to extract redemptive narratives and deeper conversation out of some of our culture coverage.
Man, it's true.
And every once in a while, and I'm talking like once a decade, somebody who is highly influential in the mainstream space like comes to faith or wants to talk more openly about their faith, and they reach out to us and they're like, I want to talk to Relevant. I want to tell Relevant a story I've never told anybody else. I remember Mickey Rourke did that back when The Wrestler came out. Mm-hmm. It's happened a few times over the years, and we just get surprised. Our very first major celebrity sit down at their home with a photo shoot that went deep was Moby. Back in 2004, because Moby saw the brand new magazine Relevant on the newsstands in New York, dug what we were about, and reached out to us because he wanted to talk about Jesus. He wanted to talk about how he was addicted to porn and loved Jesus. And so, anyway, that's when it all started for us, was because of Moby. And every once in a while, an artist will reach out. And that's kind of what happened here. It hit the news. It caught our eye that one of our favorite artists over the last 20 years, MIA, started talking about a conversion experience and coming to become a Christian. And we sat down with her for over an hour, getting more into that story, and that's our cover story in fall.
Yeah, and this is one that I really wanted this story just because I was really interested in MIA. She's a fascinating artist for a number of reasons. If you followed her career, you're aware of all of her activities as an activist and as a writer, as a very political person. So this is not a conversion experience that I saw coming, and it was not a conversion experience that she saw coming either. She opens up a lot about her kind of disinterest and even some of her antagonism towards Christianity through most of her life, and what changed for her. It is a really wild story, and it's one of those stories that makes me feel just really honored. I don't take it for granted that we get to share these very intimate details of these people's lives, and I appreciate her being willing to trust us with it. And I think that if you dig into it, I think you'll find it as fascinating as I did.
I've been a big fan since Paper Planes. Let's play a clip. Here's MIA. On the on the other side of the spectrum, we like to keep you guessing. We are very intentional about this lineup and how we piece ideas and pieces together. Now, when we had the monthly paper edition of the magazine, the whole idea was you pick up the issue because of a story that caught your eye on the cover, and then you flip the page to something unexpected, and we got you. And it's a little tougher to do in the web era. We can do it in the tablet edition. That's really just very scrollable. But on the other end of the spectrum, if you want something from one of the heroes of the faith, we have N.T. Wright in the issue kind of taking us to school about the Bible and what the Bible's all about.
Mm-hmm. This was motivated by podcast listeners. Might remember this a few months ago when we discussed this new study that shows that a record low of Americans say the Bible is the literal word of God. And that just got me thinking a little bit about what is the Bible and what is the purpose of the Bible? How should we think about the Bible? Obviously, very few people more qualified to talk about the answer to that question than Dr. N.T. Wright. And so I appreciated him being willing to open up to us about it. A little bit of a history lesson, a little bit of a Bible study lesson, and sort of a forecasting lesson too for how he hopes generations think about the Bible now and in the future here.
Speaking about deeper faith and going deeper, we've talked on this show a little bit over the recent years about how a lot of the worship music that's starting to come out is a little bit more me-centered and a little bit more surfacey, a little bit more hypey, and we're missing the stuff that like gets into the nitty-gritty with God, you know. And so we talked to Chris Brown. Not that one. We talked to Chris Brown, and this is the guy from Elevation Worship. You know, from
he's such a nice
Worship.
dude too. He's like the coolest dude.
It's so sweet.
Hey, listen, we've said it on the show. We love Chris, but if I was his advisor, I would tell him to pull that middle initial, pull a Michael K. Jordan for us.
Christopher Brown.
Yeah, go to Christopher Brown. Yeah. You're a musician. Anyway, we talked to Chris Brown about Elevation Worship and kind of what they're doing and the shift that they're doing to kind of help push worship music to new depths.
Yeah, it was fun to talk with him and just kind of pick his brain about the creative process. And we talked about how they've been working with Stephen Furtick to make sure that, you know, their music is not about them, but it is about the gospel. It's about God. And I think we've seen that over the years. Like it's really strengthened. And so, and they're even talking about what they're going to do next and how they're going to keep challenging themselves. So it was a great conversation. I had a fun time.
Yeah.
Always fun to talk to another Brown.
Speaking of a Brown who got the memo about the middle initial, we talked to Sterling K. Brown, actor that we all know from This Is Us and a bunch of other stuff. He's also in the brand new movie that just came out a few days ago, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. It's in theaters now, and it just started streaming on Peacock as well.
Yeah, so we got to talk to Sterling K. Brown and also Regina Hall. She was a fun addition. But about the film, and it's a very interesting film.
With Sterling talking to us, and then she was just walking by and was like, "Who are you talking to? Relevant? Oh my goodness!" And just sat down and joined it.
Yeah, this is
like when Dad sees you talking to Mom on the FaceTime, and he's like, "Hey, look what it is."
She leans over his shoulder to get in the FaceTime. Yeah.
No, but it was so good to talk with him because the film is about really the other side of church scandal. You know, we hear about it when it happens, what happens in the fallout, and that's what the film's about. And they did a really wonderful job, and it was a really great conversation. So,
and they both grew up church, right? Like this came from
both grew up in the church,
isn't that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So they, you know, we talked about what their church experience was like and why they wanted to be part of this film. And what was really beautiful is they both love the church. They don't want to make fun of the church. They want it to be better. And I think they did a great job with that.
Whenever I see a comedy that is poking fun of church culture, there's a big difference whether or not the call is coming from inside the building or outside the building. You know what I'm saying?
You can tell in 10 minutes. It's pretty
absolutely
obvious.
Yeah, that's great. We also talk, you know, we always talk about life issues and different things that, you know, our audience cares about. And one of the things that we've been noticing statistically is the trend that Gen Z is seeing a big rise in eating disorders. And it's something that we need to be talking about.
Yeah, this is something that started to really, the eating disorders have been on the rise for the past decade, have really been going up. People have been experiencing eating disorders younger, more men are dealing with eating disorders. And then these really ballooned during the pandemic, which is when there was an explosion of eating disorders among young people, especially among Gen Z. And that hasn't gone away even as COVID has subsided a little bit. So this is this piece is really us figuring out what happened there, what is causing this rise, and what can we do about it? What can we do about not only the systemic issues, but also people we care about, our friends who we think might be wrestling with their relationship with food, and how we can get involved in a way that is actually helpful instead of judgmental.
We also have a piece written by author and pastor Stephen Chandler, really talking about this season of life, about, you know, kind of tangibly walking in wisdom and as you take leaps of faith, whether it's career, relationships, big life changes, which is happening all the time.
I think that's why the piece really like jumped out to me when I was reading it. Is coming off of COVID, I know a lot of people are weighing big decisions professionally, personally, relationally, and I know a lot of times we hear a lot of encouragement about taking a leap of faith, especially as believers. And he talks about how to take those leaps of faith and make sure we're doing it from a place of wisdom that is also from God. Super helpful balance, super important nuance to get. Glad he was able to. I love Stephen Chandler. I was really glad that we were able to publish this piece from him.
Also in the issue, well, you might have heard of him. because it was our guest on this podcast, exploding indie pop artist Dayglow is in the issue. We just gave you a piece of that conversation. You don't want to miss the rest of it.
Had a super good chat with admitted relevant fan Dayglow. His name is Sloan Dayglow.
We like him.
Yeah, we're a fan. That doesn't necessarily mean that if you're going to get in Relevant Magazine just because you're a fan, but it doesn't. I had no idea. I was just talking to this guy, and at the end he was like, when I heard it was relevant, I was super excited. I grew up reading you guys, so
we are behind the scenes on the most expensive TV show ever made. It's called The Rings of Power, which is part of the Lord of the Rings saga. Tyler talked to the cast of the new series, which is just now debuting on Amazon, about, how true did they stay to Tolkien's faith adjacent journey.
Yeah. I think that was at least the concern that I had. A lot of people who really care about Tolkien had is like, obviously they've got the money to pull something like this off, but do they have the passion? Do they have the understanding of Tolkien's spiritual and moral universe? And I've seen a couple episodes, and I was able to talk to the cast about it a lot, get their insights on it. And I won't tell anybody how to think. You can read the actual piece to find out more about that. But
piece will tell you
the
how
answers.
To think.
The answers the answers you're looking for are in the piece.
Obviously, one of the major news stories right now is this year is the Roe v. Wade decision getting overturned, and really the tangible and practical effects it's going to have moving forward, the shifts in our society. One of those things is the thousands and thousands of new children that will be entering the kind of foster care system and orphanages being up for adoption. So we have a piece looking at the new pro-life, kind of post Roe v. Wade. What does the church need to do tangibly to take on this new era that we're walking into, specifically as it relates to adoption?
Yeah, it was a really interesting piece to study because really before COVID, especially, adoption was actually, or the number of kids in the foster care system were actually declining. And because of just expanded welfare and just a lot of different policies being passed. But a lot of experts are expecting around 10,000 babies annually will now be entering the system because of the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. And that is something that the church absolutely needs to not only be aware of, but be ready for. And
absolutely
just be ready to take action. So that's what the piece kind of dives into some more.
All right, church, get involved. And last but not least, we talked to one of our favorite indie electronica artists, Tycho. Here's a clip. Well, there's you don't want to miss this one. It's just so much going on. Packed issue, the MIA story, the most expensive TV show of all time, some amazing think pieces, incredible faith leaders. Do not miss it. It's available right now if you are listening to the free version of this show. It's available tomorrow if you're a Relevant Plus subscriber. All you have to do is click on the magazine tab there at relevantmagazine.com. You can click on the link in the e-blast if you're on our newsletter list. And you can also, if you're a Relevant Plus subscriber, just log in to your account, and your beautifully designed, enhanced ad-free edition is right there available for download. Guys, amazing job. So excited for this issue. Can't wait for everybody to see it.
Thanks, everybody. This is a good one. They're all good, but I think this one is one of those ones that we feel special about it. Yeah.
This is why we're doing it. This is why we're proud of it. Yeah.
Feel proud of this
all
one.
All right. Stay tuned. Up next, the cast rejoins us for our game, State the Facts.
If I could fly, I'd stay in the sky and never come down for no one or nothing. My wings would be huge. I'd take off to space to play in the stars, even though they're far. Nothing would stop me. I could see for miles.
You're listening to Thundercat Radio, Lewis Cole, and Genevieve Artadi. The song is Satellite Space Age Edition. Okay, it's time for
State the Facts.
All right, this is what Tyler wrote. This is his intro. America. I do not agree with this. I've scanned ahead. I do not agree with what I'm about to read. America. 49 beautiful states and also Florida. That's what he wrote.
He wrote that for you.
Truly, there has never been such a vast and diverse collection of communities bound together under one statement of our highest ideals. And though we may bicker and disagree at times, it's exactly those differences that make us all stronger. Each state has its own unique strengths and weaknesses that make it an important addition to the overall makeup of this nation. But which state has which strengths and weaknesses? That's what you're about to tell us. Each state in the U.S. is best at something and also the worst at something. In this game, you will be asked to figure out what those things are. If you guess correctly, you can rest easily knowing that you're contributing to the grand experiment of democracy. If you're wrong, you further tear the bonds of this nation asunder, risking a collapse of norms and hastening the rise of fascism within our borders.
Wow.
The stakes are high. Yeah.
Okay.
No biggie.
I'm in.
We're gonna go round robin here. Emily, you're up first. It's all multiple choice. Which state is safest for workers? Is it New Hampshire, North Dakota, Indiana, or California?
Say them again.
Safest for workers: New Hampshire, North Dakota, Indiana, California.
North Dakota.
California is the safest state for workers. Jesse, you're up.
Right.
Which state has the highest library usage? Is it New York, Utah, Ohio, or Oregon?
Wow. Oh, man. I mean, I'm trying to think. I think there's a curveball here because I'm supposed to think which one has the most reading. But most people go to the library, to use free internet and just goof around. I'm going to say Oregon.
Ohio. Ohio is the correct answer. Yep. All right, Jamie. Which state has the highest amount of political corruption? New York,
Here we go.
Tennessee, California, or Nevada?
Political corruption. I think I'm supposed to say like New York because those people are all corrupt up
Well,
there.
Nevada, you got Las Vegas.
That's true, but I think I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Tennessee is correct. Highest amount of political
sneaky.
corruption.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right. Round one is done. Jamie's in the lead. All right. One more round. Hold on. Two more rounds. That's it. Now it's worth 2 points each. So it's still anybody's game. Here we go. Emily, which state has the least amount of political corruption? Least amount of political corruption. Is it Nebraska, Maine, Delaware, or Alaska?
I'm going to go with Nebraska because I feel like they're just kind of
Nebraska. It's
Okay.
Nebraska.
Wow.
You're
They're
right.
just living their life.
Yeah.
Good for
With
them.
the corn.
All right. Jesse, which state has the most criminals who are women? Is it Iowa, Idaho, Washington, or Oklahoma?
I don't know. This is kind of a loaded question here. I feel like I'm getting in trouble.
And please explain the why
I'm gonna
of
get in
whatever your
trouble.
answer is.
I'm just going to randomly guess one because if I think through this or say anything, I'm definitely going to get in trouble somehow. So I'm just going to randomly say Oklahoma.
It is Oklahoma.
That's
Look
what
at
I was
that.
going to say.
It felt
I
like it
lived
was
there
Oklahoma.
I lived there for a while. I will say anecdotally, I lived there for a while, and I was mugged 7 times by women. So,
All right, Jamie, which state has the highest reported level of personal well-being among residents?
Okay.
Is it Texas, Kentucky, Utah, or Mississippi?
I'm going to go with Utah. I think the
That
Mormons
is
are pretty
correct.
happy.
You guys swept the board in round 2.
There you go.
look at that.
All right. Last round, 3 points each. Right now, Jamie is currently in the lead, 3-2. Here we go. Which state, Emily, this is for you. Which state has the lowest IQ? Is it Wyoming, Maine, Rhode Island, or New Jersey?
I'm not going to explain why I think this, but I am going to go with New Jersey.
The answer is Maine. They're just stupid fishermen up there. I don't know.
Okay, my explanation was that I watched Jersey Shore when I was in high school, and I felt like they specifically are bringing it down.
All right, Jesse, which state has the highest level of church attendance? Alabama, Kansas, Oklahoma, or Florida?
Once again, all these women, when they commit these crimes, they get out and want to turn their lives around, go right to church. I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
The answer is Alabama. Alabama, man. All right. Well, that means, Jamie, you win because they've lost.
I
But
would
here
like
we go.
to prove my win
Just
even
prove
more.
your dominance. You can humiliate them with this answer. Here we go. Which state has the most identity theft? Colorado, Missouri, Florida, or West Virginia?
It's Florida for sure.
Because all the old people. Florida is correct.
There it is.
That's why, I don't know if you guys saw this, Ron DeSantis' new campaign slogan. It's not a joke, Jim. It's not a joke, Jim. And that's it. And people know we're going to crack down. We're going to crack down. We're sending offenders straight to Oklahoma.
Well, congratulations, Jamie. You dominated that game. You know our country so well. All right. Before we wrap things up, I want to thank Dayglow for joining us. Make sure to check out the rest of our conversation with him in the brand new issue of Relevant. I will tell you again, on Wednesday, so if you're listening to the free show, it was yesterday, it became available for free at relevantmagazine.com. Just click on the magazine tab and everything's right there. If you're on our newsletter, just check your inbox. We sent it to you. You just click the link. If you're a Relevant Plus subscriber, you can also select the link in the subscriber email we sent you with the link to the enhanced beautiful edition. If you didn't see that, it is in your account dashboard. Just click it there, and it is designed for any tablet, desktop. It's gorgeous. A lot of little enhancements to the experiences. If you're not a Relevant Plus subscriber, do it now. It is the best way to experience our content. You get an ad-free, unlimited access. It's unlimited viewing at relevantmagazine.com each day, ad-free. You get an ad-free version of this podcast plus an exclusive subscriber podcast each week, and you get the beautiful ad-free version of the magazine. Plans start as low as $250 a month. You can go check everything out by clicking the Relevant Plus tab at relevantmagazine.com. Also, while you're on our site, make sure to check out our weekday devotional series, Deeper Walk. It is presented by Lumo. It's right there in the faith section every weekday morning, or you can sign up and get it sent to your inbox. It is a fantastic way to recenter yourself and start your day the right way. Also, make sure to check our site all day, every day for the latest. We're covering the intersection of faith, life, culture, and justice. Follow us on all the socials. We got a lot of great content that the team's making every day. You don't want to miss out. We're on pretty much every platform. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it up. Woo, this is it for 999. Ooh, you don't want to miss the 1,000th episode coming up. We got some plans, y'all. All right, end of an era, 999 in the can. On that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Jamie Ivey.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you next time for the 1,000th episode, everybody. Don't miss it. Crazy.
For listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Too big up there. Too big. Not interested.
Relevant Podcast Network.